Our technology is substantially different than anything else that exists in the market, and its elegance and its efficiency comes from its simplicity to use. What we've actually invented is a barcode that's scannable by any scanner that's typically found in the logistics supply chain, as well as in medical facilities, but also just by a mobile phone. And so this barcode can be scanned. The barcode is a dynamic barcode. It actually changes. The black and white lines change based off of temperature and time outside of a prescribed temperature range. So because the sheer magnitude, the scale involved in distributing these vaccines, we need simplistic technology that can be used in remote areas. Now think globally, Africa, think parts of Latin America, but also even domestically when you think about perhaps like a nursing home in the remote plain states of the U.S. that does not have a lot of sophisticated equipment on site, but yet needs to know that this vaccine has been handled and transported and stored in its prescribed temperature range before administering it. And it can just be scanned by a mobile phone app, and immediately they'll get information back indicating the efficacy, the safeness of this vaccine to administer to a patient. So it provides just a great deal of security and assurances as we get down to administering these to individuals.
And Joe, we know that this is so important, temperature control. Can you give us an idea of how frequently doses are being spoiled, how critical this technology is because of what we've seen so far?
Right. Anecdotally, there's been a few stories out with respect to the COVID vaccines already, but I think looking backwards, so in 2019, the World Health Organization and industry trade associations put that number at about 25% of all vaccines that are distributed arrive at their destination degraded to some degree. There is such a thing as a stability budget. We've all heard about these temperature requirements for handling and holding these vaccines, but there are allowable ranges. And what actually happens when this barcode scan is it indicates that it's arrived in optimal condition. It may indicate that it's been outside of its prescribed temperature range within what's referred to as the stability budget. It may indicate that it's nearing the end of its useful life, or it may indicate just do not administer this vaccine. But 25% is the historical number, and we'll see what happens here in 2021 as we distribute this unprecedented quantity of vaccines.
Yeah, Joe, something else that has to happen is everybody who's getting a shot that we're watching right now has to go back in 3 or 4 weeks and get a second one. I don't know if your technology helps at all in terms of tracking those people and or the shot they've gotten, making sure it's consistent and that they come back as required to get the second dose.
That part we don't address. We do address the temperature control of the actual vaccine itself over that time. And many of the vaccines, you know, as we look at this, I mean, it's truly remarkable that the pharma companies have developed multiple vaccines in this short period of time. And the way we look at this is this has been one of the fastest vaccines ever to develop, but yet one of the hardest to deploy. So some of the vaccines that will be coming on will be single-dose vaccines as they enter the market in the weeks and months to come.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.